Hello, everyone. Grateful to be here with you today and supporting this very auspicious time with the Council of Light in full presence and your higher selves, guides, advisors. When I look at this time, we are in such a beautiful, energetic for vibrational transformation, for accelerated elevation into everything we've each in our own way been inviting. And overall, an umbrella of liberation is the opportunity as we welcome the super full moon in Scorpio this Friday in the US, wherever you are in the world. Depending, it might be a different day for you. And it's the super full moon in Taurus, but the sun sign is Scorpio. And so this energetic potential is amplified at this time for seeing, witnessing, allowing shadow to be seen and transformed, integrated, healed. And from a vibrational perspective, ascension is all about going to a higher frequency, a more harmonic terrain, moving into a more harmonic terrain. And in order to welcome a more harmonic terrain that's consistent, in other words, it doesn't come and go, it's more of a new default. It requires us to release, transform, integrate the dissonance, the old stuff that we've kept hidden for lifetimes. And during this particular time for humanity, with the polarity play out, we're seeing very extreme polarities. And at an end of cycle, end of great grand cycle that we're in right now, and as we look even a little further ahead of this full moon, there's this transit where Pluto leaves Capricorn and moves into Aquarius, which is all about ending that chapter of Pluto in Capricorn and what it was about. And then welcoming simultaneously the work that we're going to be invited to do. And it doesn't have to look like work, it can look like play. When Pluto moves into Aquarius, it's a whole new age that we're welcoming. And so we're just encouraging you to link in with your higher self and to get present with all of the energetic potentials that are unique to you at this time. And we don't have to know what they are intellectually. This is more a forum where we're inviting our higher selves to take inventory, our body Davis higher selves to take inventory of what is this current energetic climate inviting me into as a being. And as we know, what we resist persists. And as we contract around something or resist something, we're not welcoming it, and we're not welcoming the expansion and the potentials for expansion that are present. So we're just going to invite you to work with your higher selves, body's higher selves, to get clear in another dimension, far beyond the mind, far beyond the stories, far beyond the concepts, the play out of the polarity in the physical dimension, the script that's currently unfolding that we are co-creators of. But nonetheless, let's take our focus off of the script for a moment onto our energetic self. Remember, you, if you choose, are going to support this as a being of light, an etheric being of light that's lived multiple lifetimes on and off planet. Inviting your body, David, nature, spirit to remember itself as an etheric being, nature, spirit, aspect of Gaia, being of light. That's who you are. You are not the stories, you are not any identifications regarding characters in the script or playouts in the script. You are the light. So inviting you to reorient as the light that you are and maybe take a moment to ponder, contemplate the idea that you've had probably hundreds, if not thousands of incarnations. This is one of them. And there's a lot of opportunity here to use it for evolution. And is it possible to know there's certain things playing out in the physical realm, but I am a multidimensional being and I am so much more than that? And how can I use this and this potent time to elegantly, empowered in an empowered way, evolve? Because ultimately, in the grand scheme of everything, you incarnated at this time because you knew it had heightened potentials for evolution and becoming next level you. And so just allowing that to be remembered, and that everything that's happening, no matter your perspective of what's happening, is a catalyst to bring up whatever you're ready to look at. And in order to look at something, it takes courage, it takes self-love. So we're going to invite you at the level of your higher self, Body Davis higher self in teams, to work with the energetic fields and the guides to activate and amplify greater self-love in your individual columns of light, you, body, and teams, remembering more self-love, amplifying more self-love, bringing in sacred shapes of self-love in and around you at the core level. And you might have just felt a very subtle energetic shift, allowing that to integrate, balance, and stabilize. Then amplifying, if you choose, you at the level of your higher self, Body Davis higher self in teams, more courage within. It's like turning the dimmer switch up, turning the light up. Okay, let's amplify courage for this particular energetic maneuver, corridor, opportunity that's being presented. So step one is to remember who you are as a being of light. Then amplify the courage, the self-love, and connection perhaps, because part of what's being called forth with this particular energetic, it's like a blueprint, I see it as an energetic blueprint, is to move into greater unity, i.e. connection, because we're transitioning from a separation consciousness based system into unity consciousness. Big energetic evolutionary leap. We're doing it step by step, stage by stage, phase by phase. Body devas are the ones that are really in it because they, for the most part, as human form body devas, have only been in patterns, mechanisms of the separation consciousness, at least for as long as they can remember. They're really identified there, and that's their survival. So for them to make this evolutionary shift is big. So we're just going to hold gratitude for the body devas, encouraging them to notice and to be aware of their own courage, of their own strength, and then amplifying greater connection for you, your body, your teams. Remembering connection in a deeper way, one with source, not separate. One with source, one with Gaia, body deva. Gaia is one with source. You're one with source because you're one with Gaia. Just allowing for that remembering. And take a deep breath in if you choose, getting more present in the now. I am courageous, I am strong, I am connected, I am light. And if you choose, I choose to use this time for the highest good, for my benefit as a being, to evolve. And it can be harmonic because you're choosing it in a conscious way. So now we're going to invite you at the level of your higher self that's taken inventory of the energetics available to you at this time to create the optimal path based on all that's available to you, and to begin to activate, to the degree that you choose, the vibrations of the spiritual lessons you're ready to activate at this time. The frequencies you're wanting to amplify within yourself. It's like your own unique energetic cocktail of you. And to wrap up any loose ends in a higher dimension, maybe in dream time, of last cycle. What am I completing? Is there trauma that hasn't fully healed? And one of the themes at this time is that things that are being maybe triggered for us or showing up in our life as unsettling or uncomfortable are there because it's like reflections of trauma we didn't resolve from previous incarnations. Because at an end of cycle, everything wants to get completed. So we're just going to make a request to the degree that you're choosing it for you at the level of your higher self, Body Davis higher self in teams, to work with the energetic fields and the guides, to take inventory of any past traumas that you didn't fully use as fuel. You haven't fully processed it, healed it, gone beyond it, integrated it, and to pinpoint those moments in time that are appropriate in the time spiral continuum for you at the level of your higher self, Body Davis higher self for itself, teams for themselves, to set up the appropriate healing chambers, sacred healing holograms in collaboration with guides, advisors, beings of love and light, angelic beings, ascended masters. You from the future as an ascended master can go back and support you in all those moments, to set up the appropriate containers and to deeply ponder all the lessons. Heal the trauma, activate the vibrations of the lessons, forgive and release everyone involved to the degree that you're willing. Are you willing? Allowing for reinterpretation to a higher octave of everything you experienced in those previous incarnations, moments of trauma. Returning and retrieving power, fragments, responsibility appropriately, fabric appropriately, retrieving any fabric and fragments that are yours, power that is yours, cleaning it, recalibrating it, re-embedding it on you for you, and integrating that fully. Again, in the appropriate order, timing, and dimensions. I'm just going to hold the focus here till I can feel that completing for you, your body, Deva, and your teams. Recognize that a lot of things that may have been triggering you in the present are actually because there's something unresolved from a previous incarnation, whether it's with a specific person or a specific play out pattern. And then moving through the appropriate vibrational transformation fully, meaning you activate the stance you were after, the vibrations you were after in those lessons that you crafted for yourself in those previous incarnations. You had others that signed up to play the catalysts, to play the roles for you. You played the roles for them. So from that perspective, we can completely forgive and release it all. And we can move into a perspective of no one's right or wrong. We were in a collaboration to evolve. There we go. And then allowing that to fully complete and integrate and ripple and reflect to you in the present moment, present breath, appropriately through the time spiral continuum, through every developmental stage in an appropriate way. So then you're positively now impacted by that healing all through the time spiral continuum, not just in this lifetime. Pretty amazing. And then balance and stabilize the electrical and magnetic energy, ground more for a higher octave. You body teams, update all grids, all reference points, all ways in which you perceive and are perceived. And so Imagine that your higher self has crafted this perfect pathway for you over the next few days or maybe even few weeks. Because again, it's a corridor. This supermoon is a part of it, but you may need a couple weeks to fully process and integrate any shadows that are exposed, either for you or for humanity. And if it takes longer than that, that's okay. This isn't a race. It's an energetic opportunity that can be utilized. And the way you meet it, if you meet it from an empowered place, a connected place, from the knowing of who you are in truth, you're less likely to get lost in it, disoriented in a false identification around all of it. And you actually can use it for your own evolution. If you don't, it's not right, wrong, good, or bad. It's just, okay, it'll come around again for you again in the future, the opportunity to look at it and to move through it, to feel the emotions that haven't fully been felt. The emotions and the play out of the emotions, whether we don't want to judge emotions because they're not right, wrong, good, or bad, they're energy that the body deva especially will use to shift its vibration. So we want to allow for the energy to move, to allow for the vibrational transformation to fully complete. That doesn't mean we project the emotion onto others. It means we are present with it, we feel it, we welcome it, we breathe through it while holding the awareness of who we are in truth, recognizing that we as a being are not right, wrong, good, or bad because we are witnessing anger or sadness or grief. And so just allow yourself to be present with what arises in this corridor from that empowered stance. And you can invite your future self in a fully enlightened state to come back and to walk with you at this time to share appropriate energetic information and to support you in navigating it in an optimal way. And again, it takes courage to look at what we've been hiding from ourselves. And from the perspective of humanity, much of humanity is not ready to look at the shadow, and that's okay. That's the developmental stage they're in. But we as beings who are at a place in our evolution where we're willing to look at and be with and not judge ourselves because we know what it all is. It's all lessons and learning as a being. And we can also apply that to what we witness others going through. They are not right, wrong, good, or bad. They are going through an evolutionary process. They're learning something. They're evolving in some way. They're playing a certain role. And when we can see through that lens consistently, we are linking in with the oneness way grids, the liberation grids, the unity consciousness grids that we're moving into on the planet, which supports our body devas in doing it, and then it ripples to the collective. So there's this sweet spot of us doing it for each of us, for ourselves, because we have the free will choice to choose for this being of life that we are, meaning I get to choose for me, you get to choose for you. And not being attached to others choosing what we're choosing. As soon as we get attached or wanting for them to value what we value or to choose what we're choosing or to perceive the way we perceive, we take our creative energy, we place it on them, which is an abuse of power. And we actually then plug into the separation grids, we tether into the grids of manipulation, control, ways of being. And we start to perceive through that lens of separation again. So we're this kind of in training for, I always call it ascended master in training, of how do we hold ourselves in absolute sovereignty? How do we hold that energetic stance where I deeply revere and value free will for me and all life? And I recognize that evolution is happening. Polarity is playing out because it's end of cycle. And the polarities are always going to be more extreme as they're basically ready to fizzle out. It's like their last hurrah because we're retiring. Earth Gaia is retiring her platform as a play out of separation polarity. And so that's going to get louder, more amplified, more obvious. We're going to see the extremes. And so each of us has the opportunity to recognize within ourselves where we may still be in that tug of war, in a polarity, and to unify, to resolve, to heal, to transform it within our own consciousness, if we choose, so that we get to be liberated from the tug of war, the battle, the struggle, the right, the wrong. And we move into the unity, which is where the win-win actually exists, where all life gets to be honored equally. And for many of us, that's what we deeply, deeply, deeply desire, is the moving into that unification where we're no longer functioning from survival consciousness and we recognize the value of everyone's perspective, everyone's choice as sacred. And so we're going to pass that to you and allow you to maybe contemplate that in your own unique way of how you can be with that for yourselves in this corridor and beyond. Really, this is going to be something we're exercising as a kind of energetic weight that we're lifting to get stronger in a certain energetic stance over the next 3, 4, 6, 8 years, and maybe beyond, depending on where we are in our evolution. And so think about all the lifetimes you've incarnated, at least hundreds of them, maybe thousands. And 8 years out of thousands of incarnations. Wow, that's not that long. And 8 years, what if I just really trained hard these next 8 years? And it's like they're showing me in this lifetime, us really getting focused on our evolution for this next leg, this next phase, however long it takes. For some of us, it might only take 2 years to use it as the mechanism to evolve ourselves. Um, it's like they're showing me for some, it's equivalent to 100 lifetimes of work. For some, it's equivalent to over 200 lifetimes of work. But we can do it in 8 years because we're conscious and aware and we have the tools. So we encourage you to celebrate that, and we welcome your feedback from this particular transmission. And we hold space and vigil for you to traverse this particular energetic terrain in the optimal way, in a way that aligns with you as a being. And if you want to join us, we're going to be offering more of a deep dive session into what's actually occurring with the script in the physical realm play out and using it to evolve through our Lifting the Veil group intensive this Sunday, November 17th. And we're going to put a link below to the video you can watch that it explains why that group intensive session is very different from other group sessions that we offer. And you can feel into whether or not it resonates for you to join us. And we just hold so much love for each of you, so much appreciation for your willingness to be awake, to be aware, to look at what has been unconscious and to evolve in a conscious and empowered way. Much love.